The first thing that we wanted to talk about was the build location. For those of you who don't know what we decided on, we had talked about some different things. We had talked about really our dream spot that we wanted to put a building, but as we got into some things, we looked at what's going on with prices and how far it was going to be from the road. We were looking at roughly 3,000 feet from the road to where we wanted to put the structure. And you know, maybe we could have waited for a while, saved some money, and done that, but for now we decided maybe it's better to be slightly closer to the road and not have to go so far into the property every time.
Yes, the cost of putting utilities up there was almost the cost of putting a building up. That would have been, you know, a 5-year plan, and now that we're working out there and getting out there on a more frequent basis, we don't want to wait. So we had to make that decision to say, do we move forward with that plan and it takes a little longer, or we find a different option? So that's what we did. Yep.
So you'll see here in this drone shot that I will include, the building spot that we picked still has a fantastic view of all of the tree line over to the east, and so we love the spot. It's just not exactly where we initially probably planned, but I think it's going to work out just fine where we're at.
When we first bought the property, we had a traditional style home, a ranch style with a walkout basement, was, you know, kind of had it all envisioned. But the more that we've worked out there, we need a place to live, and so does all of our equipment. And it just seemed to be more functional for us to combine those two into one structure with one exterior frame and to create living space within the shop area. But in the end, I think we've landed on a really good plan. We are going with a full Barndominium style home with, you know, full living quarters and also a nice shop directly attached to it. So I think that this is gonna turn out to be everything that we need from a functional standpoint.
So it's going to be around 2,300 square feet for the living space, somewhere right around there. And then the shop should be about 56 by 56, and that will have 19-foot sidewalls in there. So it'll definitely feel nice and open. And we're trying to make the shop so that whatever we decide in the future, if we decide to add on to our home or build a different shop, and we can actually make that so that it's going to be an area that we could possibly build into or remodel into in the future. So that's kind of our plan at this point. And we want to plug right now our designer, because she helped us immensely in figuring out
been great.
All of what's in our head and putting that down onto paper. If you've never decided to do a custom build of any kind, or where do you even start with something like that, she helped us to take our ideas and put them down and actually get them into a design. So that's Ashley at AP Home Designs. You can check her out on Instagram. We'll have that listed on the screen here, and also her email address in the description. If you want to get in touch with her about a design or a build, she does an amazing job to help you with your ideas and actually put that plan into action.
The other thing that we're announcing today is what we have decided to name the property. Seems like the property is what it's been called for almost a year now. It'll be a year coming up on April 5th that we purchased this piece of land. So when we were trying to sort through names, pulling everything together, the berries actually drove us to where we landed. So welcome everyone to Westberry Acres. It's a nod to our Westies. It's a nod to the berries that are invading the entire space, and we are going to work towards maximizing the use of those and keeping them under control. But Westberry Acres is where we will be making our home.
So now comes the time when we're going to show you the design. Ashley also helped us with this. She did sort of a 3D rendering of everything so we can walk through the space with you.
So what you're seeing in the walkthrough is a color scheme that's different than what we're going to be going with. We'll have a picture here, but we're going to go with a white siding and the black windows and kind of that color scheme. So that will be different from what you're seeing on the exterior. But here you're looking at the front entrance, essentially. This corner, we put the living space on the corner with the best view. We've got one commercial garage door so that we can get in taller vehicles, and then 2 residential garage doors. We're coming in the front door, so you'll get to see our open living space here. The idea behind this is that when we do get to spend time together not working, we are doing that watching TV, cooking our meals, hanging out in our open living space. So we wanted to make this a multifunctional space. Lots of natural light coming in from our windows. That was one of our main things. We wanted to maximize the view. We wanted to maximize the natural light. It's not expansive by any means. It's going to be functional. It's going to be just fine. But our ideas here are going to do everything that we can to make the space feel bigger. So we have 9-foot ceilings. We have a lot of windows letting in natural light. The idea also being that we have room sections so it feels like they're separate, but that the walkways are nice and big. Nice big 7-foot island. I'm so excited about that. And then we have a little powder room right off of the entryway from the shop. Idea there being that somebody, you know, if we have people out working with us, we have people out in the shop, that it's really easy to come in, wash your hands, go to the restroom, whatever you need to do. So we have easy access right off of coming in from the shop to a powder room.
So now we will be going into the shop area, and as I mentioned, it's roughly 56 by 56. I think we've changed a couple things over time, so I can't remember. She added a nice little touch. You can see on the trailer, of course, my lawn care logo, so that was really nice. And you can see just the big open area and what it's going to feel like with those tall ceilings. That was one of the things that we wanted to have in there, is be able to park our vehicles, but at the same time, you know, we have so much equipment now that we didn't want to have to move stuff around constantly in order to get something out. So it will still be tight, I'm sure, by the time we get everything in there.
It's full already, yeah.
No doubt about that, but this does get enough space for us to put pretty much everything that we have. And we do have our shipping container that we are going to keep right now for some extra storage. So back in this corner here, you will see a service door. This is just so that we can get out the other side if we want to. We don't have to have all the other doors open if something just wants to go out that side. And then an exterior door there to probably let the dogs out this area, we're thinking, if they're not going to come out the front, or we might have a dog fence, small dog fence area over outside that door. So that's our thinking. The dog thing has been also another thing that we've been trying to figure out, because we don't have a traditional front yard, backyard situation with this. And being out in the country, you can kind of make it whatever you want, but we also want to have it look right and not have a big fence in an area that doesn't look right.
We have an older dog who's up in the middle of the night a lot, and I do not want to be walking outside at 3:30 in the morning to meet face to face with a coyote. That was not my first choice. So we have decided we're going to put some kind of fully fenced in section right off of the shop. Since it's connected to the house, it's not a big deal to take them out at any time of day or night. They'll be safe, and I don't have to worry about something lurking right outside the door.
Yep, and off to the left here, you will see a doorway next to that bike. That is actually going to be a small workroom, basically chemical storage for all of my lawn stuff, so that I no longer have to truck it down to a basement, which we've had to do over the years here. So that may be a small workbench in there, and just an area where you know where your tools are, you can go fix something quickly.
And beyond that, we do have our mechanical room.
So that should really give you a sense of the shop area, and like I said, also the height of it. We wanted to have enough space so that I can put in a car lift and do whatever I need to do in there with equipment. So we'll be turning right here and going up the set of stairs. We weren't sure what we were going to do with the placement of the stairs. That's one thing that Ashley really helped us with, because we were trying to place them into the main area and it just didn't work out. We were taking up too much space with those stairs. So we said, why don't we set them on the outside of the shop, if you will, but put a wall there so that the stairway is right inside. So if you come in the shop and you need to go grab something upstairs, you can do that, but also it doesn't take that living space. Going up the stairs, the first thing you will see is a small landing. We will be moving straight into what we're calling Kelsey's office, but also a guest bedroom.
We'll probably put a Murphy bed in there. However, I also need a place daily for my part of running our business. So this is a nice big room. I'll put my desk in here and be able to put the bed down anytime that somebody comes, and obviously my laptop is portable, so I can give up my office for a few days if needed. Right off of my office is a door that isn't featured in the walkthrough, but it is our storage room, and so this is going to run the length above the mechanical room and the chemical workshop area, chemical storage, 8 feet wide by 24 feet long, and that is a storage space for anything that we need. So that's easily accessible right off of my office, and it's going to be great to house things that, you know, seasonal decorations or things that move in and out.
I think a lot of people would ask why, when you have a 56 by 56 shop, do you need more storage space? But at the same time, we're thinking about that more as equipment, and that's filling up quickly. And then also the upstairs, Kelsey has a lot of crafting stuff. She wants to do some temporary seating stuff that she does at the beginning of the season, and of course that could be done in the shop, but having a space indoors just makes it easier and not so cluttered out into your equipment area. So we move down the hallway now to what has been a big thing for me going forward, and what I do with video creation, and having a spot too to hopefully get back into some of the music stuff that I used to do as well. So we're walking in right now to my video studio, and you'll see all of those open windows. That's letting in natural light to be able to hang out in there and make the space feel slightly larger, but it is a good sized room. The desk and stuff is placed in here. I haven't figured out exactly where everything is going to go, but I'm going to try to plan it out to have stations. So each corner or certain area may have a station that I have everything set up. It's already ready to go. Audio is ready to go, all my cables and everything. And you'd be surprised how much time it takes just to tear things down and put them back up and set up a set, if you will. That's one of the things that I struggle with the most in our current space, is I don't have enough room to set up my lights, set up all of that stuff, and then I always have to tear it down. And it just takes a lot of time and frustration. So that was my main focus with this. Have a space where I can have everything set. I go in there, I do my work, I press play, it's done. One of the areas up here on this room that you'll see, there's a doorway in this room as well that's dark. That is my recording studio, or sort of control room, if you will. So that I'm going to treat as a studio where I have my desk in there, I'll have my computer stuff, that's where I will do my editing, that's where any of my recording stuff will happen, and that will be fairly soundproofed. I'm also figuring out that part, but specifically that room will give me soundproofing that I need.
As you walk out here, that's a closet to the right, so we'll have some storage up there.
And you'll see straight ahead we have a guest bathroom right there. That is just a small bathroom, but it does have a bath and shower in there just to give whoever might be staying just their own spot, and also for us working upstairs most of the time. Kelsey in her office, or me in the studio, then I can walk over there.
Okay, so we're gonna go back through the main living area to the back section of the house, and a couple of my favorite spaces. So what we're turning into now is my canning kitchen / butler's pantry. When it is canning season, I take over the dining room, the kitchen, you name it. I have jars everywhere, produce everywhere, everything. And so there'll be days when I'm canning and it comes time to actually like cook, make supper, and there's no counter space whatsoever. So this is going to solve one of our big problems right now, is I'll be able to do all of my canning in here. What's not pictured is we have decided to put just a stove cooktop into the counter on the other side, across from the sink. There is a dishwasher in here, there's a refrigerator in here, so this will be fully functioning for us to be able to do my canning in here, or even some baking, and just have places where I can go make my mess and clean it up and still come out and have a nice fresh kitchen. Looks small, but actually by measurements, it's not that much smaller than our current kitchen. That is our only kitchen. I don't have a pantry right now, so all of my canning stuff is stored in our basement, so it has to come up. Our extra pantry items, excess food, things like that, our deep freeze, that's all downstairs. So it will be nice to have most of everything isolated into this kitchen that's right off of the main kitchen area, and so everything is easily accessible. Finishing our trip down the hallway beyond the canning room is the master bedroom. So one of the things I'm really excited about this is space. Our home right now has 4 bedrooms. None of them are a master. We don't have any en-suites right now or anything like that. So we are really looking forward to the space in this room. We also finally will have a walk-in closet. We've never had that before. And we will have lots of natural light, lots of windows, so you can wake up in the morning and maybe see the birds and the deer right outside of the front of the house. We're going into the master bath here, so we'll finally have double vanities. That's something we don't have in our current space. And nice big shower. Not specifically featured in the walkthrough, but next to the bathroom is the walk-in closet. So we'll have that right off of the bedroom, and then you're seeing a door down the hallway just a little bit. That's directly across from the canning room, also not featured here in the walkthrough, but that is the laundry room, and that is going to be a huge, huge bonus for us. Right now, we have a closet where our laundry machines are, our washer and dryer machines are located, and we use the living room for sorting laundry and waiting folding and all of that. So one of our main things with the main floor area is maybe it's not that big, but if we can eliminate the problems of our functionality right now, we use it as a laundry room in our current space, we use it as canning, we use it as dining, we use it as relaxing, everything happens in that main area. So to give even a few of our main functions of canning and laundry their own spaces so that the messes were not a part of our main living is going to help us create much more of a serene living space.
And one thing that you may or may not have seen on that main living area is we will have a wood burning stove in the corner there. We do have in-floor heat going in both the shop and our living space. That's going to function hopefully in the winter as the majority of our base heat, and then we will have that wood burning stove and some sort of HVAC system as another backup.
Right, and then finally we have our walkout. This will go out to the east side of the house where you can walk into the shop. Probably also be where we have, you know, access to grills and things like that, so we can walk right out of the kitchen for outdoor cooking.
You'll see our porch area that will be 9 feet.
9 feet wide.
Yes, 9 feet wide, so that's a good porch size. It's going to allow us to hopefully maybe enclose something in on the bottom where we could let the dogs run around out there and have a gate on that. That's an idea that we have, but for now, otherwise, gives you a lot of space out there to just sit. Kelsey enjoys her coffee in the morning. I don't get up early, so that's not going to happen. But that's something we're really looking forward to, is the porch as well.
Yes.
So the next thing that's exciting to announce is that we are going to announce the builder now, which is going to be Mr. Post Frame, the YouTube channel. Paul and Emily Marshall are the ones that run that. I met them a couple years ago probably now. I don't really remember how it happened, but somehow we got connected with our YouTube channels, and I helped Paul put in a lawn out at his place, and we just sort of became friends after that, and he's helped with a few projects out at our place. And since that's what they do for a living, we thought this is a good time to connect with them again, and they've been very helpful in this process and getting things sorted out and getting us in touch with Ashley and the design. So they are going to be doing the building, and they will be featuring that on their channel, all of the how-to stuff that Paul does. So if you want to follow along with that, it's going to be interesting for us too to get to see our own house being built step by step. And I'm going to be following along probably week by week or so, doing a recap of things and coming at it more from the side of what is it like to build a custom Barndominium, what is it like to build a custom home, and that's going to be the process with that.
Right.
We want to thank you so much for following along with this journey. We're going to do our best with everything going on this year to document as much as we possibly can, so thank you so much for taking your time to follow along with this process.
Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time.